And we have new details tonight about that deadly plane crash in Lowell yesterday.
We are learning the names of the two men who died in that crash. They have been identified as Kevin Lawrence and Paul Schock.
News 8's Adriana Doria spoke to a pilot and a flight instructor who weighed in on the crash. She has that and a breakdown of the latest information that we have tonight. Adriana's in studio.
Brian, Amber, Robert Katz is a pilot and flight instructor based in Texas, and he has over 4 decades of experience. He asked us not to show his face on camera, but he says he has spent the last 24 hours reviewing FAA logs and videos to weigh in on what he thinks happened, and he broke it down frame by frame.
So he's flying southwest. He's about to make a left turn. He comes out of the trees.
The terrifying crash caught on surveillance video as 2 passengers of a small plane crashed into a storage facility near the Lowell airport. This is right before it crashed.
You're looking at the belly of the airplane. He is rolled over so far to the left that you're seeing both wingtips. And there's no reason to be flying that steep of a turn unless you're maneuvering very close to the airport.
Pilot and flight instructor Robert Katz analyzed the FAA flight tracker log of this trip and says the numbers show the two were flying at very low altitudes.
Notice these numbers right here, 48 and 20. What that means is that this shelf has a base of 2,000 feet and a top of 4,800 feet above sea level. He's coming in under 2,000 feet.
One reason a pilot would want to fly at such low altitudes, he says, could be to avoid talking to air traffic control.
The majority of the pilots in my community do not want to talk to air traffic control. They are not required to so long as they remain outside of this airspace. We can see that he is very close to the runway and he's making a very tight turn to get to the runway. You have no margin for error. And if you find yourself in an accelerated stall, which is what I believe happened here, you do not have the altitude to recover.
According to the FAA plane registration information, this plane was only 1 year old, which leads Katz to think it is not an engine failure. The Kent County Sheriff's Office says the plane took off from Alpena, Michigan, headed to Lowell with 2 passengers on the plane, Kevin Lawrence and Paul Schock. The crash was just after 4:30 on Monday near the intersection of Vergent Street and Lincoln Lake Avenue. Target 8 spoke with one of the victim's friends who described the owner of the plane to be safety focused. The plane was a home-built kit plane known as a Vans Aircraft RV-14-1. And the two were headed to Lowell to look at another plane that Schock was considering buying.
Obviously, the biggest concerns is casualties. You know, are we talking injuries? What do we have to do to get passengers out, survivability, those types of things. And, of course, the hazmat incidents that go with them as well, and all the chemicals that are on board, and the unusual nature of how the planes are designed. It's not something we train for every day.
It's still unclear what caused this crash. We are told that the NTSB will be on scene tomorrow to begin their investigation, and we will bring you the latest on air and on our website, woodtv.com, when we get that. Brian?